The T95E6, an American medium heavy thing.
It's really funny that like, what even is that? Let's go to visual. It's like the turret ring.
Yeah, I think, sure.
It's an okay shot. Like a weak turret ring, and then kind of a really strong bit at the upper plate, and then it suddenly gets really weak. It's kind of like my angles were. Oh no, they don't. My angles were. No, they don't. Very, very quick.
Yeah. Instead of a premium, I was really hoping we could get a T95 line where we use like the was it the T1
Oh,
LPC
that's interesting.
that tier 8 premium medium that's a tier 8, and then we just use like a 105 T90 E4 E5 at tier 9. But
Have you seen
alas,
some of these spots that I'm finding here, like on the turret? Like
no one's
bizarrely.
gonna be hitting the turret. They're gonna be hitting that tumor.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah. But for the show-offs, like Loki in chat, he's a show-off. He hits those. He hits them dank shots. Uh, I do use this one as well, JB. I was just trying to, because if you look in this mode, that turret ring looks really weird from the front, and I was trying to figure out what the hell it is. So I just wanted to switch to this so I could actually see what it looked like, and then I go back once I'm done. But yeah, you can see that the turret ring area looks really weird because of those hatches just sticking out. It's just really odd.
Yeah.
Yeah, the live one is okay, but it just kind of gets really mad real quick. Uh,
So for
particularly
the
when I go there.
E6, I'm curious if they're going to buff the turret ring because they did that with the M60.
Go to tier 10 heavies. Shot by DPM. So this thing's got what, 3k?
Yeah, just a nice flat 3K.
So it, as we obviously it's not heavy, but obviously it's like a pocket heavy. I don't know. I guess
It's
it's more like
it's
a
a
fan.
pocket heavy.
So it's high DPM of it had been compared to the heavies on PC. Uh, but compared to the mediums, it's quite high up still. It's less than some of
Yeah.
the Russians, but higher than other stuff.
For our version, only the STB and the Russian 140 T62A are better. Everything else is lower.
Yeah, I really feel like they have to. I think. So this is the thing. I have like a confliction. I guess I don't know what the word is. I'm too terrible at English. Um, I kind of can't tell whether I would like them to keep it strong, give it a good DPM, and then nerf it if it comes out too powerful, or whether they should drop it a little bit before it comes into game. Um, like I can't think of examples, but I know things like the Italian one came in, and I think that was still so underpowered and needs a buff. But then there are other times where they've brought stuff in where they've pre-nerfed it a little bit, and I think it's been okay. Maybe a little buff, maybe a little nerf.
I think the Polish have been pretty good outside their like stock grinds.
Hmm. I think there's a fine balance, and this is the whole thing of why Valor has given me like a cautious optimism. Is I do not think that whole, unless you're changing a mechanic, I think the whole sweeping, the example I keep using is a pool. You know, the balance change that they did in 4.6 was a belly flop. That was jumping off the top of the diving board and just going spread eagle and hitting the water as hard as you can and hoping it worked out okay. On the other hand, this is more of a dip your toe in first, let's carefully get in. And
I
I
always thought
think I'm
going.
more okay with the dip the toe method right now. I think it's a bit late, and it would have been nice. I think Mobius was replying on Twitter going, "Where was this like 4 years ago?" Yeah, kind of agree, but I would rather have it now than never. Like if I had to have a
Um,
choice.
I think the dipped this method would have been good like about a year ago, because personally for me, I think 4.6 was really good. It had some issues with the higher tier tanks, but
Controversial.
on the board, yeah. But for the most part, I looked through almost every single tank that was changed, and we had a vast swaths of buffs to the lower tier tanks and a lot of lower tier tank changes. That
I think this is the
that I
thing.
think was really
Uh,
needed.
like it relates back to that article I did ages ago for Rita, and it's very difficult being the online community because we do not represent the majority, and but of course we are the most vocal ones, and it's very very hard to try and find a balance. I think for the company to get between what the vocal minority will want and what the majority will be okay with, because it's going to be a hard line to walk because I would like to think that most people probably end up playing tier 10s and a couple of lower tiers. The way you and I know Gira at one point played almost exclusively under tier 6, which was kind of weird, but he fucking kicked ass at those tiers, so I can't really make much of a comment. Um, I mean, I can't play those low tiers. I find it way too unpredictable. At tier 10, I understand the meta. I know if someone has this tank, they're probably going to do that. Uh, but if it's low tier, people just do weird stuff, and I never know what they're gonna do. There's a good proportion wouldn't have even noticed the changes. Yeah, probably. I think that's the thing. The people who are going to be most critical of the changes are not the people the changes are even aimed at. The people who are that most of these changes have been aimed at in 4.6 are the people who are never even going to look at the stats. They are literally they're not gonna look at the different packages. They're just gonna go that one, that one, that one, next, next. Let's keep going. You know, I think that's probably the approach of more of the players. All of the tanks have been
Yeah.
balanced to the majority using baseline stats. Um, yeah, I guess. I think the thing is we were talking about this on some of the brief talk that we had that was slightly on topic yesterday. Was PC are trying to bring everything up, whereas console trying to bringing everything down. The armor viewer I use shows round deflection pens. Is that a armor inspector? By some chance, which we were talking about as well the other day. I mean, this tells you what's gonna bounce and stuff. So I mean, I'm quite used to Tanks GG. I was looking at armor inspector the other day, and I'm not as familiar with it, and some of the ins and outs of it, which is Orange's far more familiar with. If you, I mean, if you, I don't, I'm about to say if you go post on Twitter, but you can always post stuff there, and he'll probably interact with you on it, and he'll discuss armor inspector till the end of the day, and then keep going in the morning and on lunch breaks.
Yeah. Still gotta eat food. Yeah. But we should probably bring up like a comparison to the E6, the M48, just to get an idea of where they'll most likely balance this tank around.
Right. So let's grab PCM48.
Yeah, exact same as ours. So
Let's grab. God, the better internet makes this so much easier.
yeah. So for what the E6 has, it has more DPM and better mobility, and I go 150 more HP. The M48 has better hull armor and significantly better turret armor and
So
better
ours has
gun handling.
8.35
Yeah, ours is the
reload.
same.
So okay,
Ours is the same.
48 is exactly the same, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So that just has 8. So that's half a second. That's quite the buff. Like that will make a big difference. Do you think ours will have? Because that's a 120 though. Actually, I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah, it's the same as the E5's gun.
Do you think we will get that? I think. I think because we'll have the higher alpha. I think we'll keep the higher alpha, but I think they will lower the DPM.
Um, I'm not sure if that will because it does have a worse turret and hull,
Yeah,
and it's gun
it's fair.
handling. Um, if they do the gun handling to 0.16, which is the pre-buff PC numbers they did at some point.
Actually, let's double check it. That's got base values, yeah. But yeah, it kind of trashes the E5 on stats, except accuracy.
Oh. Yeah, just don't look at the armor. That
Yeah,
340 millimeter turret armor stat that is like a 2 by 2 inch square.
I think I can find it.
It's,
There
it's
it
right
is.
next to the turret.
There it is. See, that's your armor there, boys and girls, and anyone in between. And a little bit
Yeah,
down.
as Marlucky said, this is kind of an in between the M60 and M48, which if it comes in the current stats with maybe like minor
I don't know.
decrease in like maybe gun handling a small bit, I think it'll be fine.
I'll be interested to see what they do. I think it will get nerfed. Not a lot. Um, well, I don't know. They've not always been known to nerf premiums. Just tech tree.
Yeah,
So that could
I mean
probably
premiums
stay the
here
same.
and there. Yeah, I think the
Do I have that open
E6
twice?
could really just be fine.
Yeah, I do.
Who knows? They could surprise us by giving it the alternative T95 series hull armor, which is used on the T1 LPC and the Abomination of a Chieftain that the PC has.